Hello, everybody. It is great to be live with you again on this Monday. Well, a giant group of more than 100,000 people have joined an American group planning a convoy to Washington, D.C. to confront Joe Biden about his mandates. This inspired by the Canadian convoy. Media reports 50,000 vehicles made their way from across Canada right to the capital, Ottawa, where they are currently occupying the area surrounding Parliament Hill. According to my sources, we're going to show you some updated footage from today of how it's looking out there, as well as footage of Justin Trudeau in hiding. He is sending tweets and making video announcements from his secret spot. He's not hiding from truckers. He's just hiding out to protect you from his asymptomatic COVID, you see. So we're going to talk about all this. Excited to show you guys what Americans are up to. But before we show you that, let's look at what Canadians are up to up in Ottawa here.
Your vaccine mandates up your ass! You can stick your vaccine mandates up your ass! You can stick your vaccine mandates! Stick your vaccine mandates! You can stick your vaccine mandates up your ass! Stick your vaccine mandates up your ass!
Yeah, Justin Trudeau tweeting today, this is a symbol of hate. You see, it's not okay to hate him for enacting tyranny on you. You're supposed to bend over and take it when he takes away your freedoms, okay? If you're hateful towards him, that's messed up, and you're going to be in trouble with Trudeau once he gets out of his hiding place. But for now, my source on the ground there in Ottawa tells me that the truckers... he says the truckers are here to stay until massive change is enacted, and there are apparently more truckers than ever along the streets of the downtown core, right up there surrounding Parliament Hill, where normally Justin Trudeau would be working, but he just so happened to catch COVID. So we're going to talk about all this, as well as show you what the Americans are up to in their plans to confront Joe Biden. Before that, I got to shout out the sponsor of my coverage today, which is My Patriot Supply, which is an emergency food kit. Preparewithivory.com, link in description. Friends, the time to prepare for bad times is during good times. If you know a big storm is coming, you prepare in advance. Same goes for our nation's future. Things seem calm right now, but it's the perfect time to prepare for the next big crisis. That's why we recommend stocking up on emergency food from My Patriot Supply. They're America's #1 preparedness company with millions of happy, well-prepared customers. Their food lasts up to 25 years in storage. It's an insurance policy you can eat. When we need it, it'll be there. And right now, you can save $50 on a 4-week emergency food kit. This kit provides breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, and snacks totaling over 2,000 calories a day. Every family in America should have one of these. Go to preparewithivory.com and save $50 on your 4-week food kit. That's preparewithivory.com. Do it before the peanut butter hits the fan. Go to preparewithivory.com. Link in description. What's up, guys? Can you guys hear me all right? Yeah. Unacceptable views. That is what Justin Trudeau said the Canadians have. Of course, not the Canadians. Of course, he talks about the Canadians who are infuriated at the fringe who has unacceptable views. And the Canadians, he says, continue to be outraged at what they're seeing in Ottawa. Let me play a clip for you of what Justin Trudeau had to say today from his undisclosed location.
I know you're wondering about what you saw in our capital city this weekend. As my friend Erwin Kotler said on Saturday, freedom of expression, assembly, and association are cornerstones of democracy, but Nazi symbolism, racist imagery, and desecration of war memorials are not. It is an insult to memory and truth. Hate can never be the answer. Over the past few days, Canadians were shocked and frankly disgusted by the behavior displayed by some people protesting in our nation's capital. I want to be very clear. We are not intimidated by those who hurl insults and abuse at small business workers and steal food from the homeless. We won't give in to those who fly racist flags. We won't cave to those who engage in vandalism or dishonor the memory of our veterans.
He's highlighting a couple of things here. Apparently, rumor has it that some of the protesters who went to Ottawa demanded that a soup kitchen feed them because they weren't able to go to a restaurant because they hadn't had the needle. And so he that's why he said they're stealing food from a soup kitchen. Then he mentions Nazi symbolism. But did you guys see any pro-Nazi flags? I did not. And BBC actually gets to the bottom of it here. BBC's coverage, Freedom Convoy. Trudeau calls trucker protest an insult to truth. Now, if you go down to the Nazi part, Nazi symbolism was seen on some protest signs, some likening COVID-19 health measures to Jews under Nazi persecution. That's right. The protesters are comparing Trudeau to Nazi Hitler. Trudeau was making it out to sound like these protesters were pro-Nazi or something. It's the polar opposite. Trudeau is the Nazi. He's enacting tyranny. And they're calling him out for it. For tyranny that they think reminds them of Hitler. Okay. So he was pretty sneaky and manipulative with his statements today. Nazi symbolism. You're the Nazi, Trudeau. That's what they're saying. Last thing these people want is Nazism. But you're reminding them a little too much of it. All right, let's see what else he went on to say about comparing the protesters to BLM.
I have attended protests and rallies in the past when I agreed with the goals, when I supported the people expressing their concerns and their issues. Black Lives Matter is an excellent example of that. But I have also chosen to not go anywhere near protests that have expressed hateful rhetoric, violence towards fellow citizens, and a disrespect, not just of science, but of the frontline health workers and, quite frankly, the 90% of truckers who have been doing the right thing to keep Canadians safe, to put food on our tables. Canadians know where I stand. This is a moment for responsible leaders to think carefully about where they stand and who they stand with.
Okay, so he's not going to meet with these protesters because they are not BLM. No meeting between Trudeau and the protesters, but here's the thing. These protesters have raised a lot of money so that they can fund their stay in Ottawa. They don't have to worry about going hungry. People, I think from around the world, I know Americans have been donating to this GoFundMe. That's now nearly $10 million. Let's take a look here at the convoy as it was coming in. Yeah, it just keeps going. So that is the Convoy official Instagram page I showed you guys there. At Freedom Convoy 2022 is the Instagram page, and I think they've got over 400,000 followers on that page now. I'm surprised that Instagram is letting them go. they don't actually. Matter of fact, I tried to search them and it didn't come up in the search bar. So it sounds like they're starting to get censored. But they have been able to successfully raise a whole lot of money. Let me show you their GoFundMe page here. It's pretty incredible. The people of America, Canada, the rest of the world saying, you know what? Please occupy Ottawa for as long as humanly possible. If they could peacefully occupy and create change through peace, that'd really be something special. Look at this. 9.2 million Canadian dollars raised so far. Look at one of the most recent, or I guess this is one of the top donors. Some anonymous person donated $30,000. Description here: to our fellow Canadians, the time for political overreach is over. Our current government is implementing rules and mandates that are destroying the foundation of our business, industries, and livelihoods. Canadians have been integral to the fabric of humanity in many ways that have shaped the planet. We are a peaceful country that has helped protect nations across the globe from tyrannical governments who oppress their people, and now it seems it is happening here. That's a description of the GoFundMe there. And people from around the world it's happening to. This is an unprecedented time in world history, in that the formerly free people of the globe are all kind of going through very similar things right now. And I was sent some videos out of the Netherlands today, where a convoy has formed there. A convoy has formed in Australia as well, and it is being organized here in the United States. So let me show you guys that Facebook page, because my American viewers probably want to know about this here. Big group has joined this Facebook page already. Over 100,000 people joining Convoy to DC 2022. That is the Facebook group. I have linked this group in my description so that you guys can see as they plan. Convoy to DC 2022, dates to post soon. So they have not set the date for when they're going to be departing or arriving in DC to confront Brandon, but it's in the works, and a lot of people have jumped on here. So one of the organizers just did this video update so you can kind of see who these people are who are planning this American convoy. So here's this guy.
Due to some of the, I am a huge,
let's see, here he is,
supporter of what they've done up north in Canada, and I have chosen to kind of follow this group very closely due to some of the conversations and the people I saw getting involved with the organizing of this convoy through this particular group, Convoy to DC on 2022. I didn't know much of the whole backstory of who started the group and all that. I don't really care about any of that, to be honest with you. I could care less who's running what, because that's not what this is about. This is about being an American. This isn't about if you're a Democrat or a Republican, conservative, liberal. It doesn't matter what country you're from. Doesn't matter where you align yourself with different segments of society. None of that matters. None of it matters at all. And even though this is going to be about an American convoy, that doesn't mean that it doesn't apply to those of our friends that are in Australia or various countries in Europe, or Canadian brothers, or down in Mexico, South America, anywhere across the globe where these mandates are happening, where people are losing livelihoods because of mandates. That's really what this is. And it's not about necessarily just the American convoy. It's about a movement across the globe to stand up to our governments as individuals, as people, and our rights, especially when it comes to healthcare as an individual. What is okay for us, our decisions. It should be our choice. if you got the vaccine, that's okay. You're still welcome to be a part of this convoy. In fact, I want you to. I want you to be there. Because that's the greatest part about our country is you're supposed to be able to choose for yourself what you do, especially with healthcare. It doesn't, your constitutional rights don't stop just because there's a pandemic of some sort. And I don't care what your personal beliefs are. It's made up. It's not made up. It's real. It's not real. I don't care about any of that. I don't care. I don't care. This is about your rights as an individual human being, not even necessarily just American citizen, but as a human being to do what you feel is right for you. Now,
so that's why they're organizing this. If you guys want to watch his full video, it's on the group page Convoy to DC 2022 Facebook group, linked in the description of this video. So this is a big convoy being planned in the U.S. following Canada's lead, and I want to show you guys what's happening in Australia as well. This is video out of Australia today. So people are getting their cars involved now. Canadians had this great idea of getting your cars involved, and maybe that'll embolden some Americans, because ever since January 6, 2021, Americans have been really skittish about showing that showing their love of their liberty. So maybe if they're in their car, Americans won't be as skittish, but there was that big anti-mandate march in DC last weekend, which I covered. Check out my previous YouTube. I live streamed the whole thing. You'd see the big crowds at the end. Organizers said there was about 30,000 people at the end of my live stream there. So because people don't realize that the crowds went all the way down along the reflection pond at the Washington Monument. So there's a lot of people, but the organizers had thought there would be more people RSVP'd, and a ton of Americans did not show up to that anti-mandate march, probably because of a whole lot of fear mongering. A lot of Americans are really afraid to organize after what happened January 6th of last year, which means that the propagandists were successful, because I think that was their goal, was to shut anyone down from standing up for their freedom, which Trudeau is doing a good job of manipulating the narrative in the way that he's wording things. Very interesting. What's up, guys? I'm reading your comments. One of you guys said, what if the convoy doesn't work? That's a really good question. So what if everybody drives out to DC? What if the Ottawa truckers stay there for weeks and Trudeau continues to hang out in his recliner in his country cabin with an extended case of asymptomatic COVID and nothing changes? The mandates continue. What happens then? That's something to think about. That is something to think about. But here's the thing. If the truckers don't keep shipping food, then everybody's going to go hungry. So it sounds like what would actually happen is the average citizen would feel the punishment of the lack of food. Maybe what if everyone just didn't pay their taxes this year and then the government gets punished? That's just me thinking. So it was really interesting watching how the Canadian media covered this. CTV News is called fake news in Canada. The Canadian protesters said that this is a fake news outlet. It's one of the primary news outlets up there, as I understand. and their coverage didn't mention any of the reasons of why this is happening. Why are they didn't interview the protesters? They didn't talk about, you know, any of their reasons of why they're there. What they did, what this entire article does talk about, is hints of possible violence, hints of possible desecration of monuments. I guess a lady danced on top of the tomb of the unknown soldier. And so it's a very interesting article, completely basically just disparaging the protesters, saying, you know, it appears that, you know, they may just be here to hurt innocent people and innocent tombs. No mention of why they're actually there. So that's CTV news. Now, the protesters, they're pretty organized in Canada. They've created multiple websites about their causes. And this one website, takeactioncanada.ca, talks about the 10 reasons I don't trust you. In you, they're meaning Trudeau. 10 reasons they do not trust Trudeau. So these are some of the reasons these people are protesting. Of course, it started with the trucker mandates as far as getting the needle in order to make shipments across the border. Both Trudeau and Biden are doing those mandates. But here's a whole list of why these people are up in arms. Number one, it says you didn't look at residents of long-term care facilities, even when the pandemic really started there and was concentrated in those homes. Two, you didn't, and then it talks about how, you know, the vast majority of people who died of this illness are above 70. Okay, so if you really cared, you know, the old people's homes should have been a priority. Number two, you didn't differentiate between hospitalizations and deaths with the illness versus from the illness. The difference is obviously important, and you ignored it until 2022. Three, you continue to pretend that natural word I can't say here, immunity does not exist. You continue to pretend it doesn't exist. Four, you have pretended that the negative consequences of the policies you employed in response to the illness do not exist and do not matter, as far as unemployment, especially amongst the poor and working class, decline in mental health, domestic and drug abuse, child neglect and abuse that accompanies the economic impact of the lockdown. You have all the developmental harms. All these things have harmed children, they say. So they do this whole list of things. Oh, sports have been totally screwed up. I mean, middle school boys who want to play hockey, and hockey is a huge thing in Canada. They were forced to get the needle if they wanted to continue their hockey careers in middle school, which was just devastating for a lot of families. You've been irrational and illogical, it says. That's number 5. Number 6, you betrayed tens of thousands of dedicated health workers. 7, you've deliberately misrepresented information. In other words, you lie with data. Number 8, you have promoted bigotry and discrimination between groups of Canadians. Number 9, you support censorship. And number 10, you do not respect my bodily autonomy. So that's one list Canadians created as to what they're really, really up in arms about, and that's on takeactioncanada.ca. So a lot of Canadians very upset. And I know in the headline of this video, I said that Trudeau is in hiding. I know that he said that he's just, hunkering down because he has some asymptomatic COVID. This is where I got that from. The Independent reports Justin Trudeau and family moved to secret location as Canadian trucker protests spark security fears, report says. The PM's office hasn't confirmed the report. The Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his family have left their home in Ottawa for a secret location, the CBC reports, amid security concerns as thousands pour into the Canadian capital on Saturday in trucker convoys to protest the needle mandates. The PM's office has said it will not comment on Mr. Trudeau's location for security reasons. There you go. So Trudeau is in hiding, and that's the situation. That is the situation. So what do you guys think, my American audience? Are you guys joining this convoy at this point? As Canadians showed, it is not just a convoy of truckers, but of citizens who are fed up with government overreach, tyranny, government saying when you can and can't open your business, what you're allowed to have in your body, and then who you're allowed to come into your business. Can you imagine having to shut a big percentage of your customers out of your business because the government says they're not allowed in your business? Yet that sort of shenanigan has been going on now for 2 years, just about 2 years. So what are your thoughts on all this, you guys? I'm reading your comments here. Fidel Trudeau is a coward and a liar. That's catchy, huh? It's really something. With almost $10 million raised, those truckers now have a duty to stay in Ottawa. What's going to happen if those truckers get tired and head home now? And these people what about that guy who poured $30,000 into that fundraiser? These guys have a duty to make some sort of change when people donated $10 million to the efforts in Ottawa. Will Americans be able to raise that much money? Do Americans need to raise that much money? I mean, if you're going to stake out outside of the U.S. Capitol or the White House for endless periods of time, you need some money to live off of, I guess. So we'll see if this new Facebook group gets something organized. But honestly, they might want to move off of Facebook and onto something like Telegram or something, because Facebook, doesn't like people who oppose the government. Facebook may or may not be working directly with the White House, after what we heard from Jen Psaki commenting on that topic, I believe July it was. So there you go, guys. I just wanted to catch you guys up on this and let you know I have been tracking this. It's really been something to watch what happened in Canada. I took a little vacation last week, a little family time and sunshine in Arizona. That's why I didn't get a lot of videos out. But now I'm back tracking the growth of tyranny in our nation and the world. And we'll keep you updated on that as it continues to happen so that you guys know what to do about it. If I can at least show you what's happening in the world, you decide what you're going to do about it. You're going to organize a convoy? Cool. We'll cover that too. All right. All the best to you. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday, and we'll see you later.